Good morning, Diecast friends, family, channel viewers. Joe here, Ignition Diecast, coffee and cars, with my cleanest dirty shirt. First of all, today we're going to open these 5 recent mainlines for the Ignition Diecast Master Set Archive thing. But yesterday, I have to comment real quick. I was talking about this Renault, and I pronounce it E-Space because I'm an American mutt. But Josh in England, Britain, the UK, however those people refer to that country, corrected me, and I deserve to be corrected. I'm grateful for it. It's actually pronounced Espace, which is the French word for space. So it's the Renault Espace F1, and it has an F1 V10 engine, mid-engine in there, blah, blah, blah. But here's the funny thing. The irony is not lost on me. I watch a lot of British television, like BritBox, usually with my wife. We watch a ton of UK television shows, like from England, from Wales, Scotland, however that's all broken up, Ireland. I guess it's the UK. The only thing I feel safe saying is the UK. But here's the funny thing, and the irony is not lost on me. One thing I notice when we watch British television a lot is that the British refuse to pronounce French words the way the French pronounce them. A good example being fillet, like a fillet knife or a fillet of fish. People in the UK say fillet. And like Marquis de Sade, they pronounce it Marquis. So it's like they refuse to pronounce French words the way the French pronounce them. So I just thought it was funny that someone in the UK corrected me about the spelling or the pronunciation of Espace. Ironic. That is irony, right? I'm no Alanis Morissette. I think that actually qualifies as irony. So these 5, see them? Fairly unexceptional mainlines. So you might be a bit bored with this video. I find most of these cars boring, except the drift and brake. So we got another Vespa scooter. Last year there was red and like a teal green color. This year, I think this is the only color this year so far. It's white, and it's a Vespa scooter. It's a 1966 model. So gearhead speaking wise, it's a 2-stroke and probably has fairly low horsepower. When I was in my 30s, I went through this weird phase where I was thinking, well, I had this kind of an affinity for mod things like the Jam and British mods from the 60s, and I considered getting a Vespa, which is ridiculous. But I was looking at the ET4s, which is like a 4-stroke Vespa, and will do like 90 miles an hour. It's like the highest end, the fastest Vespa currently made. But it didn't happen, and frankly, I'm kind of glad. So here's this Super Sprint 1966 Vespa. What's its full title? Vespa SS Super Sprint 1966. Anywho, it's a Vespa. And the Honda Moto Compo, which is a folding motorcycle, a folding scooter. It folds into a rectangle for easy storage. I think if you wait long enough, the actual car is not foldable though. Bummer. That would have been a good trick if they made the toy foldable. But give it time, and Mattel, between their Hot Wheels brand and their Matchbox brand, make pretty much everything. So there's the Moto Compo. Go into the archive. I don't do motorcycles or scooters at all. Like, I don't have a single one, and I don't want any. The drift and brake in burnt orange, and this is number 163, I think. I'm not going to put my glasses on for that, but I like this car quite a bit. It's like the wagon shooting brake version of the Fast Fish. I guess that's the pun with brake. It's a drift car, shooting brake drift car. I don't know. But I would probably keep one of these. I have this little box down there of Hot Wheels muscle cars, and I've got the other two colors of this that came out last year. And I think it's a pretty cool car for a fantasy car. One of my favorites that they've ever done. This and the Fast Fish. I like muscle cars so much that even fantasy muscle cars appeal to me. So, burnt orange, drift and brake, archive bound. The mid-mill in teal. This is the second color for this year. The first color was like a brick red, maroon. Now we got seafoam green. I call it seafoam green because that's what Fender calls it on their guitars. But you might call that like aqua. I don't know. This is an example of me being schooled by Hot Wheels. I didn't realize that in the Hot Wheels hot rod parlance, a mill was slang for engine. So this is a mid-engine vehicle. It's a mid-mill. Get it? The mill is in the middle. The engine's in the middle. It was news to me. I had never heard that term mill before. But I guess the twin mill makes sense, you know? It's got two engines. I'm pretty thick in a lot of ways. The teal, the seafoam green, mid-mill. And then lastly, the Zinger 21C. And this is the orange one. I think we got like 3 colors last year. This is the first color for this year. But I think there was a red one, a blue one, and a Zamac one. So I might keep this. I don't know. I don't really have a supercar or exotics section in my collection. But this is a pretty cool one. This is another one that I didn't realize was a real car. I thought this was a fantasy car that Mattel made up. But apparently it's real and costs like $750 million. So clearly out of the reach of folks like you and me. I'm assuming you're not rich. I don't think anyone who watches this channel is like extraordinarily wealthy and can afford this type of car, but maybe so. Maybe you're slumming it and watching this channel. So there were a couple other things I wanted to bring to your attention. There we go. I got a new box, so hold on. Let me get it. The Barracudas were getting a little crowded, so I established I can't really tell if you can read that in the reversed camera, but 68 Plymouth Barracuda Formula S. And I don't have very many of them, but I do like the casting a lot, so I'm committed to beginning collecting those. So I just have 5 at this point. But I put these in order. So there's 8, 16, there's 17 of them in all. And this being the most recent. So got a ways to go on that, but it's a box. And here's big news. This is probably going to make it to the major networks and is going to dominate the news cycle for at least 3 or 4 days. So get ready. Are you ready? I'm no longer going to collect bone shakers. I know that that's kind of like an assumption with Hot Wheels collectors that they collect the Twin Mill and the Bone Shaker and other classics. But I realized last night that I only collect the Bone Shaker because it's a classic. I don't actually really love that car. Plus, there's like 500 of each of them. There's like 500 closed roofs and 500 open roofs. And it's unlikely that I'm ever going to complete that run of bone shakers. So I'm going to relinquish the box. I'm going to put whatever ones I have. Here, I'll show you which ones I have. Pretty meager, really. And it's divided up. These are the open roof, and these are the closed roof. So I'm going to put all these in the archive. I'm going to put the rest up for sale at Ignition Diecast if the archive already has it. A lot of these are multi-pack exclusive, so those will just be for sale anyway. Probably not this evening, but maybe tomorrow evening. I try to put new inventory in at 7 p.m. so everyone has a fair shot at grabbing the hot stuff. And maybe you're really into bone shakers and you want some of these. So tomorrow by 7 p.m. But this box is going to be repurposed for something else. Probably the Duster Thruster, which I really, really do love. But just wanted to let you know, because I know that my collecting habits are pretty important to the 5 or 6 people who watch these videos. So tomorrow, I always bring up tomorrow. Tomorrow is Feedback Friday, Freestyle Friday, and I only got one question so far. So if you have, if you're curious about me, because I'm an influencer and very, very important figure in the diecast community, and you have a question for me, pop it to me as a comment or email or whatever, and I will answer it tomorrow. Have a good day.